The Scuf Envision Pro has been, in my opinion, the best controller for PCs since it's been released. I've had it since release date. Let's go ahead and talk about a long-term review on the Scuf Envision Pro. Roll the intro, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sergi J in 4K. Now, you saw that intro. I'm ready to get into this long-term review. This controller has been great. If you watched my unboxing, I did that sometime back in, what was it, October, November, sometime around then. I got this controller release date, day one that it came. This is actually the one that I got was from Scuf, but I also ordered another one from Best Buy. So I have this one. This is the one that I'm using now. This is the one that I ordered from Scuf directly. It's the one that I got from Best Buy. So I've been using this controller since its release date, and I can tell you I have nothing but good things to say. I did at the, we'll get to this part. I did have a little bit of an issue with this one here, which we'll discuss. But I've used this controller extensively. And when I say extensively, I'm talking about I went through the camo grind on Modern Warfare 3, and I completed the camo grind with this controller. So yeah, I put in a lot of hours using this controller, probably over 100 plus. So definitely a great controller. I could say it's been fantastic. The app that it comes with is great. It allows you to pretty much switch all the buttons on the controllers, except for, I want to say, these two here. You can't really remap those, but you can remap the paddles that come on the back. Here you go. You can remap the sax buttons, which are there. If you don't plan on using the sax buttons, they do give you like plates to where you can just block them off. You just pull those off and you can pretty much block them off. And then of course you can control everything else to where you can turn off the rumble features on the controller, because I mean, let's be real, if you're using this for FPS, you don't want the rumble feature. That's really not necessary, because I mean, you're trying to just, keep your aiming as best as possible. Rumbling doesn't help with that, in my opinion at least. And then, of course, you do still have one of the best-selling features for all of the FPS-style controllers. You have the clickable mouse-style triggers, but the benefit here in the Pro is that you can easily, as you saw there, flip that switch, and it turns into an actual full swing controller. With the Scuf, I want to say the Reflex, the FPS, that one was exclusively for FPS. You couldn't do that. The same thing, made by Scuf, but it's still made by Scuf in the style of a PlayStation controller. That was the controller. I had two of those as well that I used pretty much extensively also from release date forward. But I can tell you this controller, it beats that in every way. I know a lot of PlayStation users, this right here, these buttons being marked as like an Xbox controller, will throw you off. But I can tell you, you get used to that so quickly. So, I mean, it's not really something that I would say as like a non-selling point. No, you get used to that, and the learning curve is very small because the button layout is the same as it would be for a PlayStation. And then again, you're using mainly the paddles on the back. So, I mean, you're not really looking at the actual face buttons. It's pretty much, you just become so accustomed to using them that nothing really changes. That's pretty much something that I have had no issues with. Again, great controller. One of the biggest things for the game that I use mostly, again, as I mentioned, is Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, all of those. The sax buttons have come in clutch for me greatly. I could tell you the sax buttons, what I like about them is you can customize them. I have the one on the left-hand side. I use that to, instead of hitting, up to ping somebody or ping like an enemy, I just hit that, you ping them right away. One thing as well that you can use, and I have this one actually set to, and this is what's cool that no other controller that I've used, at least, no other controller has, is you can actually map those to like keyboard bindings, which is awesome because there's certain bindings on keyboard that you can do that you're not able to do on a mouse. So for example, the one on the right, I have that set to the keyboard binding for dive, which is great because say if I'm running, instead of having to hold the button or hold one of my paddles for my character to dive, I press that, I'm mid-run, it dives automatically. Now, if I'm trying to get back up, I just hit the, the button on the back button that lift my character back up, and it comes back up like nothing. Flawless. Again, this is exclusively for PC. Unfortunately, you don't have the ability to have apps like that on consoles. So if you're watching this and you're a PC player, if you haven't watched any of my other previous videos, consider getting one of these. Again, Scuf has not sponsored me. I've reached out. They have never responded. Scuf, if you're watching this, your boy would like not a sponsorship, but send me some review units. I'll be free. I'll be glad to do them for you. But this is definitely one of the greatest controllers. They've had, when I first got this, these were the only two colors you can get. The Stealth Gray and the Alpine White, I think is what they call it. Those are the only two colors that you can get when they first released. That changed very quickly though. Now they have a customized ability to where you can do different plates, different back, the paddles you can change, the triggers, you can change all of this, the colors on these. And even if you have one of these, you can buy the plates themselves, because with these, I won't pull that off because that has the, what's it called? You'll notice with this, the actual plate comes off very easily. It's like magnetic. So you see that comes off. One thing that I forgot that actually comes off as well is the D-pad actually is magnetic. You can see the magnets in there. And then when you go to put that on, snap it right on and it's bam, you're good. It's good to go. Putting everything back together, just line it up and it's in. So swapping the actual face plates on these is very easy to do. As I mentioned, Scuf looks like they now actually sell their separate face plates, which is cool because you can customize it. You can pretty much change them all up. I think I did hear them eventually saying that they're planning on releasing rings like these, because these do pop out, but I didn't notice any of those. The face plates do have different rings, so maybe that's what they were talking about, Scuf. If you're watching this, feel free to drop a comment there saying if that's what you guys plan on doing. Not too sure. But the face plates they do have different rings that come with them, so maybe that's an adjustment you can do. As I mentioned earlier, I did run into an issue with one of these controllers. It was the white one here, because I did use this. This was the one I used mainly. This one I started using this when I sent this one. I had to send this one in basically for warranty repair. Now, Scuf obviously is pretty, I guess you could say, infamous for their warranty repairs, because a lot of people say that, have had issues and they've had to send in their products for warranty replacement. The good thing with this is that whereas the other ones used to have like a 90-day warranty, with these you now get a year warranty. That's definitely, it's great. It extends, gives you another 9 months. And the one thing I noticed with this that I had the issue with is my left joystick here was no longer running with the character, was no longer running as quick. It felt like it was actually delayed. Now, at first I was like, oh, okay, maybe, I guess I'm overreacting. No, I swapped in the other controller that I had that was actually brand new, still in the box. And no, it was noticeable. It was definitely noticeable. You could tell that there was something wrong with that joystick. So I went ahead and I reached out to Scuf. The process itself, I reached out right around the holiday time, so it did take a little bit longer. I can tell you the longest part was actually not me shipping it to them and them shipping it back to me. The longest part was actually waiting to get a response from somebody from Scuf. Scuf, again, if you're watching, it probably should be more, I guess you could say, more on top of those responses, because unlike me, where I'm lucky enough to have two controllers, a lot of people who buy these, this is their primary controller. So if it goes down, they really can't game, or they have to switch to a standard, gamepad. If we're paying $179 for this, we want, something that works hand in hand, or if we do need to send it in for replacement, something that you're going to be on top of. So I waited, I think like 2-3 weeks for them to respond. Never responded, so I actually went ahead and reached out to them, and they finally responded with a shipping label, telling me how to ship it off. And I did that. That process was really quickly. It took about a week to actually send it to them because they did UPS ground. Once it got to them, turnaround time was really quick, because what I actually noticed when they sent this back to me was that this was not my original controller. They must have just went ahead and set my original controller aside, giving me a brand new one. So this is brand new. This came in a box. I didn't do an unboxing because, you saw the unboxing on one of my last videos. But this is a brand new controller, pretty much stock. You could tell it feels brand new. My other one was definitely worn down here on the grips because, again, you put in over 100 hours on some of these sweaty lobbies and things like that. Your controller is not going to be the same as when it was brand new. So no, this is actually, the controller, they just went ahead and replaced it. So as far as the replacement or their warranty repair, I can tell you I have no issues with the warranties. Do I wish, or should I say I hoped it didn't break down as easily? No, that would have been nice if it didn't. But again, if you're putting in over 100 hours and you're using the same controller within that time, it's bound to happen. These controllers aren't bulletproof. They're not going to last you forever. So I know a lot of people, in this comment section will probably say the same thing. Well, if you're paying $179 for a controller, it should work and it should continuously work. I agree with you, but let's be real. Most things are not built to last anymore. That's anything. If you're putting in time and you're using these things very frequently, of course they are going to break. That happens with anything. I accepted that, and because I accepted that, to me, now when I go out, and I understand, yes, not everybody can do this, But because I'm in a position to where when I get these controllers, I just buy them 2 at a time, keep one ready to where if the other one, happens, something goes wrong with it, say if I drop it, if it breaks, I can just pull the other one out of the box, we're good to go. So as far as long term, I can tell you that's really the only issue I've had with this controller. The software is continuously, I can tell you that has been updated a few times. The firmware on these is updated probably 2-3 times since I've had this controller. First firmware update was, I want to say, the first day it came out. You had to do firmware before you can use it. And then since then, there have been 2 other changes, which I really haven't noticed anything out of the ordinary, I can say, that I would change, noticed any changes in the software or how the controller functions. That I didn't notice anything like that. So long term has been great. Still, I could tell you, and I still suggest this controller to everybody who runs PC. Whether you're a FPS, shooter or game type person, if you play platformers or, other games, this controller will work for you for all of those games as well. The one thing I do wish, Scuf, for future controllers, because I'm sure there will be revisions to this controller at a later time. 2 things that I wish would happen, and I mean, we'll see. It may happen, it may not. I would like Hall effect joysticks, just so that we get no stick drift. I have not had any stick drift issues with this controller, but that's not to say that they won't happen or it won't happen. So Hall effects on a secondary controller would obviously prevent that from ever happening. And then also give us the option, Scuf, to go ahead and remove the motors on these. Because again, I use this controller exclusively for FPS games, and I don't use the rumble feature on this at all. So the motors on this do make this controller a little bit heavier. It's like a standard controller, so not the heaviest thing in the world. But if I can get something to where the motors are removed, it would be greatly appreciated. Make it a lot easier in hand for those 4 or 5 hour gaming sessions. We all have them. You're here watching this video, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, people. And of course, that would make it a lot easier, in hand holding for long extended hours. But other than that, the controller's been great. If you're on the fence about buying it because of that warranty issue, you get 1 year. Go ahead and use the hell out of this controller for that year. Send it back. More than likely, Scuf is going to go ahead and just send you a brand new controller. So you're good to go. You're covered on all fronts there. And again, the software features and all the customization that can be done on this controller is what makes this, to me, the best controller for PC gaming. If you're a console gamer, watch some of my other Scuf videos. Those I do feel are more suitable for you. PC exclusively, though, these I can tell you, there's no way around these controllers. These controllers are the best software in the hand feel. The service that they actually give you now has definitely gotten better over time. So definitely, again, if you're on the fence, go ahead and pick one up. It gets my Sergi J stamp of approval. Not sure what that means to you. Take it as you will. But I can tell you these controllers are great. I've had them again since release date, and I've put in extensive hours. Nothing else to be said. Great controller. If you've reached this point of the video, if you haven't hit that like button, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please consider doing so. I'd greatly appreciate it. Until then, guys, your boy Sergi J, and I'm checking out.